the Fellowship of the Fantasy Ring. We are going to give you an update on our fantasy football league. We're going to tell you where the rankings stand, give you a little update there. We're also going to give you some trade targets for heading into Week 10, some people that we think could potentially help you win the championship, maybe some players to trade away from your team too. And of course, we're going to talk about Thursday Night Football. Let's get straight to the episode.
Welcome to the FantasyLand Football Podcast.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Welcome into the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, it is Wednesday, and I just want to say first, before we get into the show, just give yourself a round of applause, okay? You showed up today.
Another one.
That's right. It's Week 10, heading into the playoffs. You know what? Right. You deserve that round of applause. Like I said, it is Wednesday, the 11th of October.
It is Wednesday, my dude.
And we are ready to give you a great podcast. What's up, Badaki? I see you smiling.
No, I was gonna say October. I was for a quick second. I was like, no, we're in November. No, it's definitely October. Are we November and October?
Yeah, bro, it's November. Did I say October?
Yeah, you said October. You made me second guess that. I was like,
that's hilarious. No, we're definitely in November. Wow, time has actually gone so quick. Time flies when you're having fun, and in 2020 we've started to have fun because of fantasy football. Big day in the next couple of days for some people. If you do like gaming, the gaming community is ready for the PS5 and Xbox Series X to release.
That's right.
I'm pretty pumped. I know you're getting yours a day early because you're in Sydney, Australia.
Yeah, I get mine a day early. So technically, when you hear this podcast, I would already have my PlayStation 5 on me. So
you're going right after this? You're going right after this podcast to grab it?
No, not right after this podcast. Technically,
okay.
Technically, it doesn't come out for tomorrow my time, but our podcast released tomorrow morning your time. Anyways. Right. The time difference is kind of crazy, but I'm pumped. PS5, I mean, I'm excited for a new generation, you know?
Yeah, same. I'm excited. My PS5 will be here in 2 days. Pretty pumped. Hey, if you didn't know, we actually we're gonna start gaming together with the guys in our fantasy football league. We're gonna start gaming. We're gonna start streaming, and you can watch along if you like. If you're into gaming, if you like Call of Duty, if you like FIFA, 2K, whatever it is, we're gonna game for you. On Instagram, you can find our new page at Fantasyland Gaming. Follow us there. If you would like to follow us on Twitter, it's at Fantasyland_GGs, which is GGS.
Boys.
Give us a follow there if you love gaming. And hey, we're excited for this next chapter of the Fantasyland community. Let's talk about news.
What is going on here?
Yeah. Okay. I was about to go, I was about to spit something. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, drop some balls, kid.
All right, need to know news. What's happening? What is going on around the NFL? Bye weeks. What do people need to know for bye weeks, by Doc?
Yeah, obviously, a couple bye weeks, 4 teams as always: Jets, Chiefs, Cowboys, Falcons. A lot of big names there: Patty, Tyreek, Kelsey, Zeke, Julio, Calvin,
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, big names.
Frank
Sam
Gore.
Darnold, Frank Gore. I mean, you know, Jameson.
New York
Crowder.
Jets
Wow.
defense.
What a catch by Jameson, by the way. I don't think we addressed that last podcast. That was crazy.
Jameson's talented. Unfortunately, his talent might be wasted in New York. Bye weeks. Make sure you got those players out of your lineups. COVID news. Big Ben has been placed on the COVID reserve list. We don't know if he has COVID. We don't know if he's been around someone who's had COVID. We just know he's been placed on the list. Hopefully we'll have an update today on that situation, right?
Yeah, we're still, we're checking all the Twitters and all the beat writers. We haven't heard anything yet. All we know is that he's been placed on the COVID reserve list. So stay tuned for that. Melvin Gordon, not also on the COVID reserve list, but his DUI court date has been moved till December 14th, which means there's only 3 more. Yeah. He'll only have 3 more games left. He could potentially be facing a 3-game suspension. So, I mean, this is still all up in the air. We still don't know what's going to happen. But if you don't want to be in this limbo gray area where you feel like, Melvin could affect your team, sell him, get him out. Might
be time.
Yeah.
unfortunately, the 3-game suspension looks like it is looming. But as we've seen many times, legal matters sometimes get pushed back in the season to avoid any sort of suspensions. Antonio Brown is also dealing with some legal issues that he's facing. The situation seems unclear. We don't want to go into too much detail about it because it is a little bit of a sensitive matter. But
yeah,
does this worry you? And we can only talk about fantasy football in this perspective, right? Does this worry you if you own Antonio Brown in fantasy football? You just picked him up. You just played him last week. Probably it wasn't a great week, but to already hear these stories of these legal issues, what's the panic meter here?
It can be really high. I think this is also a perfect opportunity for you to kind of shop him as well to see. You know, Antonio Brown, he didn't have a good first game, but you expect him to have a better game next week. I actually don't know who are they. I think they're playing the Carolina Panthers, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me, but I think this is a perfect opportunity for you to kind of shop him around. He is a big name. He is very talented. Obviously, with all his legal issues still unclear. But yeah, I am worried. I'm worried. I wouldn't want him on my team. Once again, another person that has a gray area that you just don't want. You know, you want your team to be reliable.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right. Every Wednesday podcast, we like to answer 2 questions from the Fantasyland fam community. We post a story on our Instagram, and we say, hey, what do you want to know the answers to? And we choose 2 questions every week to answer from you guys. So the first one is from Azim Manzoor. I hope I'm saying that right, my guy. The question is Chubb a good start this week, and what happens to Kareem Hunt? So the Browns are facing Houston. I think if Chubb is healthy and he is starting, then yes, this is a no-brainer start for me. What's your thoughts on this, Badaki?
Oh man, it's hard. It's hard. I think there's a lot of factors that you have to take into account. You have to take in. Is he going to come right back? You know, is he going to if he has a full participation in practice, and he's taking all the reps and he's taking all these snaps. If he's getting physical at practice, then yeah, I think maybe you can play Chubb. But if he's being very limited, you know they are being cautious with him because they don't want to re-aggravate whatever he's done. Then I will be leaning more towards Kareem's side. That's kind of the thought process right now.
Yeah, and I get that. I think if he plays, you have to play him. There are certain players you just have to play. Look, if you're sitting with 3 top 5 running backs on your team and Chubb's there, okay, it's a different story. But most people, if he's starting, you're gonna play him. All right, second question is from I'm the method. I hope I'm saying that right.
I'm the method.
Is Chark a worthy flex play coming off a strong week?
Wow. Once again, it's very situational. That's if is Gardner Minshew going to come back? Is he going to be playing this week? Is it still?
No, we've actually already got it confirmed that Luton will be the starter again next week.
Confirmed. Okay, so if Luton is the starter, then I think you can, maybe lean more towards that. I think Luton was, Chark and Luton does have something. He was targeted 12 times last game. Well, I think he had 7 for 140 plus yards and a touchdown. So to be fair, he is playing the Packers, if I'm not mistaken, and he's playing the Packers at Green Bay. He is going to be going against a good secondary there.
Jaire Alexander.
Yeah, so
Green Bay is currently 5th best against defending wide receivers. So I think expect a much smaller week.
Yes.
More around 10 points is what I'm thinking. But I think he is an okay flex start. All right, we're going to get into Thursday Night Football. But first, we want to tell you a little bit about RSA. RSA, who are they? Well, RSA is our sponsors. As you know, we do monthly giveaways for signed sports memorabilia. We just gave away a signed George Kittle jersey, and very soon we're going to post about a Devontae Adams signed jersey giveaway. RSA is the reason that we're able to do that. They are our partners in this. They help give us those jerseys. So let's talk about RSA. We believe they are the go-to for all things sports memorabilia. But did you know that most signed sports memorabilia companies don't actually work directly with the athletes? Did you know that? Okay.
Nope.
Well, they don't. They use third-party companies, but not RSA. RSA makes deals directly with the athletes in bulk, so you can always get the best deals in the industry. RSA is also the largest JSA authenticated autograph distributor and promises a money-back guarantee on all products.
Oh my goodness.
Head to shoprsa.com for all your signed sports memorabilia needs. Now, on the real, we love these guys. If you want anything signed sports memorabilia, seriously, shoprsa.com is the place to go.
Are you ready for some football?
Are you ready for some football?
Are you ready for some football?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I'm just about to spit every
Bro,
time. Okay.
Every drop you want to say something, just blurt it out, bro.
Yeah, I'll just start and I'll never stop. Okay. On my way to the top. Stop it. Okay, here we go. Colts at Titans. Thursday night football. Wow, a really good Thursday night football matchup. This is what the people want. Okay, a lot of relevant players in fantasy. Over-unders 48.5. That's presented by OddsShark. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Colts. Who are you mainly looking at during this game for the Colts?
Look, it's kind of hard to say. I think this is a perfect. I mean, obviously, I've been watching the Colts and when they play and their snap counts, but I've kind of been interrupted, with all these other games because the Colts. This is the first time the Colts are going to be on a prime time game. Okay, so now I can see. I mean, I've seen firsthand, but now I'm going to dissect this a lot. I don't know. I think clearly this is a running back by committee right now. We spoke about it last week. Not last week. Yesterday in our other podcasts. Jonathan Taylor, Jordan Wilkins, and Nyheim Hines. It's running back by committee. One of these guys is going to take off. We just don't know who it is.
Yeah, and what could a very realistic possibility is all these guys could finish with under 10 points as well. T.Y. Hilton apparently could play this week. Not sure that that's really exciting for anyone. Hasn't really had a good game the entire year. Michael Pittman Jr., talented rookie, showed some signs early on, had the injury, and now he's back. Had a good game last week. Yep. He was on the waiver wire show yesterday. I'm excited to see what Michael Pittman does against a Titans defense that hasn't necessarily been great against the pass.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a game where he can shine. He can have an opportunity here. I think this is going to be where he can get his first touchdown as well. I think that Michael Pittman is, like you said, he's a very talented wide receiver. I mean, I watch his vlogs. I don't know. I know you're probably not into vlogs, but he actually has a vlog, and he vlogs almost all the time. So, which is pretty cool to see. He just got engaged. Congratulations. If you're listening.
Congratulations, Michael.
Yeah, if you ever listen to the podcast, shout it out. No, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see him play.
Found the love of your life. Okay, I like it. Love of my life. I don't know what that's from. Okay. Titans.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Titans. The King, Derrick Henry, sitting on the throne, putting up 6.8 points last week. That's not King status. What's going on? King's going to return this week back to King status, or what are we thinking here?
Yeah, I think so. Wasn't the 99-yard run against this team?
I know the famous Jaguars 99-yard run for Derrick Henry.
I'm not sure. I think he would definitely come back. I think he'll have a big game. I think he's definitely going to score at least 2 touchdowns. This is my concern, and that's my concern.
Yeah,
I think that this team can go up. Look, let me rephrase that. I think the Colts has a very good defense.
Yeah,
they have a good secondary. I think it's the run, their front four that can actually stop them. And I think if Derrick Henry can't get it going, that's good for obviously AJ Brown, Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith, all these guys. It's either going to be a run heavy game or a pass heavy game. I think that's the problem.
Yeah. You know what, Derrick Henry, if you look at his stats last year, he played 15 games. He's currently played 8 games. He's got 182 carries so far. 182 carries in 8 games. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he continues with those numbers over the span of the season, he will have 364 carries, which is almost 60 more carries than last year. They are relying on Derrick Henry, as they always have, but to an extent where, are you worried about injuries at all with a guy who's taking this many snaps, this many carries? Derrick Henry is a tank, but no one's invincible.
That's actually never crossed my mind. I've never really been worried. I think Derrick Henry is a running back that you can say, like you said, he is a tank. He is somebody that I can rely on. He is not going to get hurt. And that sounds so weird. I'm trying to think of somebody that I can rely on every week that I know won't get hurt now in this league. Gosh, I'm trying to think of, like, for Saquon was that guy for me, for obvious. I mean, that's probably because he's my home team, CMC is as well, like
he was that guy. He's had a really great year. Very similar numbers to last year, averaging 4.6 yards a carry. That is under from last year. And he's actually, one thing I wanted to quickly highlight, he's not lost any fumble. He's not fumbled at all this year. Last year he had 5 fumbles. So taking care of the ball really well so far. Mm-hmm. And from a volume perspective, he's going to continue to pound. And standard leagues, he's probably the most valuable running back. But PPR, still a top 5 guy. A.J. Brown. Oh, my goodness. A.J. Brown was well worth the wait. Must start every week, right? That's the kind of status he's in.
Absolutely. I don't know if you guys have, I mean, when you look at whatever app you look at and you go to A.J. Brown's stats and you see his yards, and then you see, because it breaks down in NFL, it goes from targets, yards, touchdowns. And you just see one. And it's actually really like aesthetically pleasing. And it's like, yes, he scored a touchdown almost every game since he's been back. And it's crazy.
Yeah. No, he's been on a tear since coming back in week 5. He's scored a touchdown in every game, and he scored 2 against Houston. He's been an absolute beast. He is a must-start every game. Corey Davis dropped the egg last week. Mm-hmm. Can you start Corey Davis in this matchup?
I think there's better flex options, especially Thursday Night Football. Or, low-end wide receiver too. I would not be starting Corey Davis. I think he's going to be putting up points. He could potentially get a touchdown this game, but surely there's better flex options, or just better options versus this matchup. This is a divisional matchup. Remember, these are teams that go against each other almost every year, so it's a hard-fought game. These two teams hate each other. Yeah. They know they're used to playing each other. I'm not really sure what I'm trying to say. I just know this.
Yeah. Divisional games always mean a little bit more for that. That's for sure.
Exactly.
You're probably starting Ryan Tannehill if you have him, even though it's a really good defense. Is that right? Like, you probably can't sit Ryan Tannehill, right?
Man. Once again, it's just it really depends. It can go off, or he can go off, or he can have a really bad game. Yeah. Once again, I think there's better streaming options. And it's crazy. It's crazy to say that I'm actually going to be streaming Nick Foles this week. He's playing the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm playing. There's no one else on waivers. Obviously, I have Patrick Mahomes. If I have Ryan Tannehill, I'll probably stream Ryan Tannehill, or if Ryan Tannehill was available in our league. But I think there's better options personally, and matchup base. All right, that's what I'm saying. Matchup base options.
And we're going to give you updates on all the games this week. Make sure you're following us on our social media accounts. Instagram is at FantasyLand Football. Twitter is at FantasyLand_FB. We give a lot more injury updates on our Twitter and game day alerts. You can watch the podcast on YouTube, subscribe and hit the bell. And you can listen on any podcast platform in the world. But it's time to give you an update on our Fantasy Football League.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
All right, let's talk about the guys in our Fantasy Football League, the ring, the fellowship of the Fantasy Ring. Maybe you haven't had a chance to get to know the guys in our Fantasy Football League just yet. Why don't you head over to our Instagram at FantasyLand Football. There's a story highlight that says our league. There's player profiles for every single person who plays in our league. You'll get to know a little bit about them, We give weekly updates, weekly recaps from the guys on our league as well on our IGTV. But let's talk about this week. The highest scorer. Is this 2 weeks in a row?
2 weeks in a row, back to back, baby, is yours truly. 150 plus points.
Yep.
I mean, what more can you do? Look, my team's scary, okay? Patrick Mahomes, Dalvin Cook, Chris Carson obviously is hurt. AJ Brown, Darren Waller, Robbie Anderson. I mean, Roberto Woods coming off the bye. Ooh. Ryan Suckup. Ooh. The Seattle Seahawks defense. Look at that playoff. Look at the playoff picture for the Seattle Seahawks. It's gonna come back, bro. They're gonna come back.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we know is that the Seahawks have been great for fantasy, putting up numbers like 0 points, 3 points. No shade. Obviously, you've got a great team. You were the highest scorer. The lowest scorer on the week was Jordan Westfield.
The GG boys, thanks for playing.
Not a good week for Jordan Westfield.
He needs some milk.
Did not score over 100 points. What's going on with Wesley's team?
Oh, man. Look, we didn't have him on the trade of the week. He traded, with Steve really late, right before the games. There was a whole debacle, but it was a lot. It was a lot of drama. When you listen to the podcast, send me a message. Send us a message. Say, I heard the podcast. Let me know.
You know what? I'll actually just say I'll talk about it right now. So here's what happened. Okay.
Oh no.
Steve Vasquez. I know. Steve Vasquez, great guy in our league. He owns Alvin Kamara and Mark Andrews, and I was trying to acquire Alvin Kamara on a Saturday night from about 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. Steve replied to trade texts maybe once every hour, and the issue isn't that he didn't trade with me. The issue is that he said he was interested and dragged me along. So what happened was I said, Steve, it's about 2 a.m. We had a trade that he said that he liked. I said, can we do this? And Steve said, hey, why don't you talk to me in the morning? I'm keen to do something. Let's wait till the morning and I'll trade. I'm keen to trade. And I said, all right, so you're going to wake up in the morning and we'll trade. He's like, yeah, we'll try. And look, I would have gone to bed at like maybe 11 p.m., midnight. But I was waiting for Steve because I get excited about trades. You got to be in the league. You got to care. I was excited about acquiring Alvin Kamara, and I feel like I had a very good deal on the table for Steve. And I woke up the next morning, and no text from Steve. No, hey, sorry, bro. Decided to trade with someone else. I just woke up to a trade notification saying that Steve had traded with Wesley, and Wesley acquired Alvin Kamara and Mark Andrews from Steve, and I was furious because I feel like the etiquette is at least to send a text and say, hey, I'm sorry. I know we had a deal that we were going to talk about, but I decided to trade with someone else. I'm not upset I didn't get the player. I just think there should be trade etiquette. Let me know. Am I crazy? Send us a DM, tweet us. I don't know. Let us know. Is it fair for me to be upset, or am I just a crybaby? I don't know. I was pretty upset.
Yeah, a lot of ands if or buts there. I don't know. I mean, who knows? But look, I just think that Wesley lost in the trade. I think that's what. I think he still would have lost potentially, but I think the reason why he traded with Steve, when he traded with Steve, made him lose this week, and I think it actually hurt his team in the long run. And, he's trying to make the playoff. He's just outside the playoffs right now. But that's my thought process.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Let's talk about the playoff picture in our fantasy football league, okay? Right now, the playoff push is real. It's crucial. Every win is starting to count. The trade deadline is coming up soon. Not this week, but next week, right before the games for us. So you got to start strategizing. You got to get to the playoffs first, and then you got to strategize about who you want to be starting in the playoffs. Take us through the playoff ranking right now. Who would make the playoffs today?
Look, today, obviously, you have myself. I'll take you really quick on the top 6, and then, we can kind of talk about them. So you have myself, Joe Dickow, Zach, Steve, Sam, and and Brandon Baca. Those are the top 6 guys. We have a post on Instagram as well, kind of breaking that down, which should be up on Instagram right now. But go check that out so you can kind of have a better view and understanding of what that is. But, I mean, those are the top 6 if the playoffs were to end, or if the season was to end right now.
Yeah. And I want to ask about Brandon Baca's team, because I think if anyone in this top 6 is probably going to miss the playoffs, it's no offense, but Baca's probably the one person I'm pretty worried about in this top 6. His team currently: Tom Brady, Ronald Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Amari Cooper, Chase Claypool, Claypool, Jonnu Smith, Antonio Brown. And the bench, not much to offer on the bench. He's traded away a lot of valuable assets. Amari Cooper wasn't really the time to trade for Amari Cooper. Wasn't really the time to trade for Jonathan Taylor either. Is it fair to say that Baca probably won't make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think so. I think the only way he makes the playoffs is if Tampa figures out something, and that's crazy to say because he has 3 Tampa players on his team: Tom, Ronald Jones, and Antonio Brown. So if Ronald Jones can find the end zone and then Antonio Brown can get targets, I think he can mix something up. Same thing, like everyone that was on his team right now was doing great in the first half of the season.
Yeah.
All of them now is people you really don't want on your team, which is crazy.
It's not really panned out well. Let's look at the people right outside the playoff picture. Wesley sitting at 7th. We've talked about him a little bit. Made a trade. We'll see if it works out. JB's got a great team, but he's sitting at 8th right now. Tommy sitting at 9th. Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers combo on Thursday night. He also played Tyler Irving. Tommy played 3 players on Thursday night last week and had 81 points.
Mm-hmm.
And
crazy.
You would have assumed game over, right? Luke Rodgers was down 1 point something points going into Monday Night Football, and Luke had the Patriots defense and just barely came out of there with a win. Really exciting game to play. Look, Ilio's at 10th, Elijah's at 11th, Luke at 12th. Is anyone out of the playoffs yet? Can we rule anyone out just yet?
Look, no, you actually can't. Playoffs, well, technically you can. There's really only 3 more weeks until the playoffs. So, I mean, I think
there's
the
4
people that
4 weeks. 4 weeks.
4 weeks. Okay, so 4 weeks. So I think from Illinois, actually no, you actually can't rule out.
Yeah, this is a crucial week. This week we will be able to rule people out if they don't make it across the line. Hey, there's actually a recap from this week from the guys in our league. It's posted on our Instagram, on our IGTV. It will be posted today. If you'd like to go hear from the guys, hear how the week went, go check out our Instagram page at FantasyLand Football. By the way, you can support the show now if you'd like to, right, Badaki?
That's right. Patreon.com/FantasyLandFam. Just a great way. If you love the show, if you love our fantasy football content, if you like Zach and I, whatever the case may be, whatever you like, you can support the show. We have 3 different tiers. You can find whichever one accommodates you and your needs for the Fantasy Football League and for the leagues next year. Please remember, this is not just for 1 year. We're doing this every single year now.
That's right.
So check out patreon.com/FantasyLandFam. We really appreciate
this is a
everyone.
year-round podcast as well. We are not going anywhere in the off-season. We will be giving you content year-round. Let's talk trade targets.
To trade this dude and don't even get a first-round pick, it's damn near a fireable offense. Clearly because of emotion, because it makes no football sense whatsoever.
Okay. All right. Trade for targets and trade away targets are trade targets of the week. We are going to give you 2 each. Okay. People that we believe you should be trading for in order to kind of get you to the playoffs or to have a strong playoff push, and people you should probably be trading away, cashing on the name value or the great game they may have had recently. So let's start with our trade for targets. Badaki, who are you trading for this week?
That's right. Look, this one could be a little bit, at home for me. So maybe
it's a homer.
Yeah, maybe you think this is a little bit biased, but I think you should really take this into consideration. And Sterling Shepard, you know, ever since Sterling Shepard came off of IR, he has been the number one guy. He has been targeted, you know, a lot of times in this offense. And plus, it's really opened up this offense as well for Daniel Jones and all these other guys. So I think he's not somebody that's really high priority. This is not somebody that, you know, he's like, man, I really want this guy on my team. I think this is somebody that you can trade for really low, have on your bench, and kind of go from there. You know, like maybe you have a Marvin Jones right now, you know, and Marvin Jones went off, and you know, Sterling is a little bit more consistent than Marvin Jones right now. I don't think he's higher in ranking, but I think he's a little bit more consistent. He's been averaging 14 points for the last 3 games. I think this is somebody you can actually trade for, put him on your bench, get him really low, nothing crazy, stash him.
Okay. Yeah, I don't hate it. This is terrible to say. I would bet today that he doesn't finish the season with another injury. I would bet that he does have an injury before the season ends. You know what I mean? He's almost always injured, and I don't want to bet on an injury. I don't want him to be injured, but it's just certain players you stay away from because of injuries. And you're right. If he is healthy the rest of the year, there could be a lot of value there. I'm just kind of a little bit worried, but I get where you're coming from, and I agree. There is definitely value there.
Yeah, love it. Love it.
I don't know if you're going to have a little rebuttal. Okay, let's go on to my first trade target, and that is Calvin Ridley. Look, Calvin Ridley's value might be at an all-time low this season. He's currently coming off a foot injury. When that injury happened on Thursday Night Football, it looked bad, and it looked like we might have lost him for a long time. However, there was a high chance he was going to play last week. He went out on the field. He almost went, but the team decided along with him, hey, let's take the bye week next week and just get you fully healed up. So you need to know when you're trading for him this week, now's the time to do it because he's on a bye. And there's probably a lot of teams who need to win right now. They need the win now. They need to start players. So maybe target Calvin Ridley. Let's not forget, Calvin Ridley was a wide receiver 1 for most of the season so far. No one's held wide receiver 1 status longer than Calvin Ridley this year, averaging 22.3 fantasy points per game, and consistency has not been the issue. That was the issue in the previous 2 years, but consistency has been there for Calvin. And I want to just bash out this theory that you have to worry about Julio Jones. Right. This stigma of, what about Julio Jones? Well, ¿por qué los dos?
¿Por qué los dos?
That was my best attempt. Why not both? Okay, look, here's the deal. Julio Jones, you know that meme, right? Where the girl's like, why not both? Okay. Here's the deal. When Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley are both on the field, that is good for both players. It doesn't hurt either player. In fact, I think Julio is more valuable when Calvin is there. And I think Calvin is more valuable when Julio is there because it opens up coverages. People can't focus on one of these elite wide receivers, and they're both better on the field. They both have more opportunities. The game plan is easier to get them involved into the game. I personally love it when I see both of them out there. And honestly, if the Falcons had a decent defense, this would be a really, really good team. And these wide receivers, the wide receiving options, is a big reason why. He's shown he's an elite wide receiver this year. I think it's the perfect time to buy low because after the bye week, he's going to come back and he's still going to be that top 5 guy, top 10, top 5 guy, in my opinion.
Wow. I mean, yeah, Calvin Ridley could definitely be that guy. I definitely see that happening. That's crazy. I didn't know that stat that, like, you know, he's carrying the number 1 position for this long.
Well, he's not currently the wide receiver 1, but he, out of any wide receiver in the league, he has carried wide receiver 1, the best wide receiver, the longest this year.
Wow. All right.
Wow.
Gosh, I don't know if you can hear that, but I hope the podcast can't hear it, but these birds are going crazy outside right now. My goodness.
Hey, birds be doing something. That's all right.
David Montgomery for me. Look, and I know this is probably controversial, but I actually really love this play.
Controversial.
I actually really love this, and this is somebody that I'm actually going to be targeting myself. Look, I know Monty has a concussion, okay? I know he's got hurt. He's on the Bears, all this other stuff. But look, this is a prime time to trade for him, and let me tell you why. Okay, you need to look now. You know, we are in this time frame in the season where you want to look for the rest of the season. You want to look at the playoff picture. You want to look at people that you're going to be starting, okay? And look, after the bye, obviously Monty's out. So let's just say he's out this week. He's out for week 10, bye week 11, week 12. Starting from week 12 when Monty is back, okay? He's playing the Green Bay Packers, the 31st ranked run defense. He's playing the Detroit Lions, the 32nd ranked run defense. He's playing the Houston Texans, the 30th ranked run defense. Okay, and then it goes back to Minnesota, the Minnesota Vikings on week 15, ranked 22nd. But then it goes back up or back down technically to Jacksonville, which is week 16. If you are in the playoffs,
wow,
Jacksonville ranked 27th ranked run against the run. So look. This is a great stretch for David Montgomery right now. You can try and get him on the low. People are struggling. People are trying to make the playoffs. People are really, trying to make a playoff push. So if somebody that has David Montgomery and can't risk to have him, not starting next week,
right?
This is prime for you for the playoffs.
If you're okay to, lose him for 2 weeks,
absolutely,
it's a good scenario.
Yeah, it's definitely a good scenario, and I actually love it. When I saw this, I was like, you're actually kidding me.
Yeah,
mind you, these are divisional games. The Packers, Detroit, Minnesota, those are all divisional games. Okay,
yeah.
So it's high scoring games, but then again, they can't shut them out.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind. I think it's a great run for David Montgomery.
And here's the reality: every trade target carries risk, so you need to know that when we tell you to trade for someone, right? And I just want to throw a disclaimer out there because we always have to. When we tell you to trade for someone, we're never telling you to give up the entire world. When we're telling you to trade away someone, we're not telling you to give them away for nothing. So just keep that in mind. But maybe this is, something that could help you start to make some moves towards the playoffs. I like it. Last trade for target is James Conner. James Conner is currently the running back 12. And oh my goodness, he's coming off a doozy of a game.
Wow. Yeah.
With a total of 4 fantasy points last week against Dallas. It was a smash matchup. Obviously, somehow, the worlds all aligned. And Dallas was up most of the game, which means game script did not work in James Conner's favor. Only had 9 rushing attempts. Let's take a look at James Conner's upcoming schedule. He gets to play the Cincinnati Bengals twice, okay? Not a great defense. Decent, but you know that James Conner is going to get into the end zone. He then plays Jacksonville, and he also plays Washington and Buffalo. So, a pretty decent upcoming schedule. Now, there is a downside, okay? Because he does play Baltimore and Indianapolis. And Indianapolis is in the playoffs. Now, here's the thing. If you make it to week 16 and you still care, you're probably in the championship. So he's already brought you to the place that you want to be.
Right.
Obviously, you want to win the chip, right? You don't just want to get to the chip. You want to win it. But great schedule coming up. And, excuse me, throw everything aside from what I've just said. Throw it all aside. What have we been saying from day one? What's the identity of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Defense and run.
That's right.
Why was the game so weird last week? Because their defense didn't play really well and they couldn't run the ball.
Yeah.
So this is their identity. They want to run the ball. I believe James Conner is a great trade target right now. Buy low. Maybe someone could be panicking in your league. Maybe they're not. But I still think there's a lot of wiggle room with all the guys that we have told you today. A lot of wiggle room. These are not untouchable guys on rosters. You will be able to trade for these guys. Now, every time we give you trade for targets, we also give you trade away targets.
Oh boy.
It's a little bit controversial, this first one, and I think once you hear the take, you will probably understand where I'm coming from. I'm going to give you my first trade away target. Last year's MVP, Lamar Jackson.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, I know. For those of you who are tuning in from the Instagram page and you saw Lamar Jackson and you're frustrated, hopefully this will help explain where we are coming from. This might be hard for you to hear, but Lamar Jackson is not a top 10 quarterback in fantasy right now. He's not. And it's not an opinion. It's not a feeling. It's a fact. Lamar Jackson is currently quarterback 11 on the year.
Found out.
And for me, I think it's time to move on from Lamar Jackson.
Get him out.
Okay? The offense has just looked so questionable, and the defense has really been carrying this team.
Yeah.
I love Lamar Jackson. I love the player, but currently for fantasy, it doesn't seem like someone that you necessarily want to have to rely on every week. Now, here's how you trade him. He's a massive name, a big name. Lamar Jackson, are you kidding me? He will still carry tons of value. So, here's how you're going to trade him. What you're going to do is, let's say you're in a situation where you have a Matt Ryan as well as your second quarterback. Maybe you have a Ryan Tannehill, a Justin Herbert. These are guys that you can rely on for the rest of the season.
That's crazy.
So what you should do is you should take Lamar Jackson, package him with a player that's weaker on your team. Let's say you're weak at running back, tight end, wide receiver. Package Lamar Jackson with one player on your team that's a little bit weak in a position you need help, and go out and get a really good player.
Right.
Package him with a running back and get Nick Chubb. Package him with a wide receiver and get Michael Thomas maybe. People are low on him. Package him with a tight end and maybe try and get like a Darren Waller, for example. I think there's plenty of opportunities to improve your team. Here's the deal. Lamar Jackson has been averaging 22 fantasy points per game. This is 6-point touchdown league, so it might be less for you. That is bang average. And I hate to say it, but he's actually lost you more games than he's won you.
That's right.
That's probably crazy to hear, right?
Yeah. Lamar found out. Get him off your team. I think a lot of people spent a lot of draft capital on him as well. They probably drafted him in the first or second round. And looking back at it now, you're probably thinking, man, like who could have actually drafted a little bit more valuable, at
he's
running
definitely
back.
been one of the most disappointing picks in the second round where he probably went. But the name still carries value. Mm-hmm. Don't trade him away for nothing, but try and improve your team. And I would rather stream quarterback and improve my team at a different position.
What's crazy to say is that, kind of crazy to think about, is it something that is this the normal Lamar? Because maybe last year Lamar, when he became MVP, it was more like he's just going off. But maybe this is what we're going to be seeing for the rest of the seasons. For
and
the
I hope
next
not.
2-3 years.
I honestly hope not. I hope Lamar turns back to that elite status, but it's just not been there this year.
Yep. All right. My trade away target for you guys, and it's a bit of a concern for me. It's Noah Fant.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason being is that he just can't stay healthy every single game. He's getting hurt. He's getting knocked down. He's going in and out of the games. He's doing everything that he can, and it's just worrying me. Worrying me that Noah Fant.
Yeah.
If you're a Noah Fant owner, I'm just scared. Okay, he's currently tied in 12, and I'm looking more towards the future. I'm looking more towards the playoffs. I'm looking more towards this playoff picture, because that's my main concern. So can he stay healthy through the playoffs for your team? Okay, and I need a player that I can really rely on, because he can affect your team. Trying to make this run, trying to do this. So obviously he was out. He got banged up last game. He was in and out of the game. He left the game. He came back, and then he left the game. I think this is time for you to trade away Noah Fant and maybe get somebody else. The first person that comes to my head is Evan Ingram, and maybe it's because I'm a Giants fan, but he's been a little bit more consistent. You know, he's currently tight end 10. He's staying healthy. Okay, number one, and Evan Ingram is known to be very injury prone. I think this is a good opportunity for you to trade Noah Fant and get a little bit more value somewhere else, or just a better tight end.
I like it, and I can see where you're coming from. All right, my last trade away target, and I hate it. I honestly hate that this guy is on the list, but it's Jonathan Taylor, Indianapolis Colts, currently the running back 19. And man, this really frustrates me that he's on this list, and I don't want him to be on this list, but the reality is you can't trust him going forward. This is, from what we have seen, a running back by committee. It's a split backfield, and it's not split 2 ways. It's split 3 ways, okay?
Right.
But did you know that in last week's game against Baltimore, the second half of the game, Jonathan Taylor got 1 touch the entire half. 1 touch.
That's
crazy.
It.
Now, in the last 2 weeks, Jordan Wilkins has outsnapped Jonathan Taylor 62-47. Those are significant numbers right there, because if Jonathan Taylor's the guy, he certainly hasn't been getting the looks that he has deserved.
Right.
Now, you also got to worry about Nyheim Hines in the backfield, because he's kind of taken over that third down back role, the pass catching back. For me, plain and simple, there's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. And what happens when there's too many cooks in the kitchen? Someone's going to get hurt. You're going to burn your finger. You're going to accidentally cut yourself. Someone's going to bump into you.
Yep.
I don't know. Look, the reality is there's too many people for this to be a really relevant backfield. So how do you sell this to someone then? Well, rest of season schedule. Probably the only person with the better rest of season schedule is David Montgomery, your trade for target.
Yeah.
But let's look at his rest of season schedule. He plays Tennessee twice, Houston twice, Green Bay, Las Vegas, Jacksonville, and there is Pittsburgh in there, and that's a downer. But other than that, it is a great rest of season schedule. Let me ask you, would you rather have DeAndre Swift or Jonathan Taylor rest of season?
Probably Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor or David Montgomery rest of season, your trade for target.
Yeah, definitely Monty for me.
Okay. Well, hopefully that's helped you make some decisions. I honestly don't want this guy to be on the list, but he is. So, make any moves that you feel like you might have to going forward.
Yeah, that's unlucky. Look, it's definitely frustrating. I actually don't even know why, they even drafted Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor was somebody that I think he can be a lot more valuable on another team. They still have Marlon. They have all these 3 guys. Marlon Mack, obviously he got hurt. Nyheim Hines, Jordan Wilkins, all those 3 guys have been on this team for the past 2 or more years, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then they brought in another running back in Jonathan Taylor. He's very talented, but he's just not being utilized in the right way, in my opinion.
Yeah, I get you.
All right. My last trade away target is another tight end.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You're not going to like it. Another tight end.
Don't do it.
And it's Jonnu Smith. And look, it's crazy to say, but Jonnu Smith is tight end number 7 right now, okay? Number 1. And he's been averaging 2 targets per game in the last 4 games. It's just absolutely terrible.
That is actually terrible.
And I'm just a bit concerned. I'm a bit concerned of his production for the rest of the year. I'm a bit concerned if he's actually going to be a boom or bust guy now. Look, ever since week 6, okay, 2.3 points, 1.9 points, okay, week 7, week 8, 4.9 points, and then obviously last week in week 9 against the Bears, he got saved by that touchdown, but he's all these no targets. He's getting no target. He's not getting looked at all. And it's concerning. Yeah. And I think that maybe you can trade him away. He's a big name guy. He obviously just got a touchdown. He just got double-digit points. Maybe you can trade him away and get some value in another tight end position. Yeah. And maybe that's a little bit more consistent,
Yeah. Honestly, this hurts because I traded for Jonnu Smith. And I traded for him right as he decided to be completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
So it hurts me because I feel like there's so much talent there. And I feel like this offense could be better if they utilize Jonnu Smith more.
Right.
But 2 targets a game, that's hard to rely on. So I get where you're coming from. Hopefully these trade for and trade away targets have helped you make some decisions that you need to make going into the playoffs. It's crucial to make moves right now, right before the trade deadline's about to hit for your league. Thanks for joining us on the show. Do not miss our next episode tomorrow. We are going to do Week 10 start or sit advice, start sit-ems. We're also going to give you Hail Mary matchups on the week. Hopefully help you make some decisions that you have to make in your leagues. And by the way, don't forget, we are starting a gaming platform, FantasyLand Gaming. If you like gaming, if you like streaming, if you want to watch us play all different types of games, then why don't you go ahead and follow us on Instagram at FantasyLand Gaming. You can actually find that in the bio of our football Instagram. And on Twitter, you can follow us at FantasyLand_GGS, FantasyLand_GGs. We'd love for you to be a part of that community. Badaki, I know you've been excited about this for a while.
Yeah, look, I mean, before I fell in love with fantasy football, my first love was gaming. I've been gaming for a very long time. This is a perfect opportunity for me to start this too, just to start start gaming in somewhat a professional and competitive way. Look, in the next couple of days, we're going to be putting up a poll which platform you guys would like to see us on, YouTube or Twitch. We want to use both of these platforms, but we just want to know where everyone's at. So maybe we can cater to you, but ultimately we're going to obviously choose at the end of the day, but we just want to know where you guys, which platform you think is cool, which platform you think is better. So we'll put that in the polls on our IG and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. I love it. All right. Well, thanks for listening to the podcast today, guys. We will see you on the episode tomorrow.
Yep.
Please join the Fantasyland Gaming community if you would like to. As always, we will see you there.
See you there.
Hey, yeah, you, the one listening to this podcast, you made a good decision today. Keep making those good decisions. You know what? Go ahead and do a little dance right now, like no one's watching. 'Cause you deserve it.